Hello, my name is Kathy, and today I'll be discussing Saturn in Gemini. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists, so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. People with Saturn in Gemini are likely to have a serious, ordered mind that looks for patterns and structure in everything that it examines. The mind of these people likes to classify and organize eyes by logical concepts and by strict laws and forms. When positively expressed, these people have a mental discipline and concentration that pursues a concept over a long period of time, as they slowly build rational systems of thought, while carefully linking ideas together until they crystallize into perfect order. The potential for rigorous reasoning with this Saturn placement may make them a brilliant scholar if they have decided upon the attainment of knowledge or for academic status. These academic pursuits, however, will normally come through slow and careful study of the subject at hand and an orderly review of the material in question. These people want intellectual certainty because they have doubts about virtually everything, and it is possible that they will use these doubts as a tool to stimulate further questions and deeper study into the subject at hand. When these people's doubts dominate their thought processes, then their minds become more suspicious, narrow, cautious, and conservative. If this happens, then they will fear the new, the unexplored, or the apparently irrational, and as a result will attempt to control, manipulate, and dominate circumstances that brought on such fears. These people are quite aware of any limitations in their educational status and may make efforts to improve it or at least to maintain it in other people's eyes, because it's important to them that they are not thought of as uneducated, silly, or stupid in any way. Though some with this placing are deliberately silly because this is their way of avoiding seriousness and to control situations. This same effort keeps these people very serious and controlled in their communications with others. As a result, they find it difficult to be spontaneous or free-flowing in conversation, and may have no abilities in the area of small talk or light-hearted chatter. While the silly types with this Saturn position can produce an endless food of small, useless chatter in order to prevent real depth from being reached, when negatively expressed, these people have been denied an education or have had a narrow schooling in which achievement was more important than the awakening of their curiosity. Or it could manifest that they will assimilate many narrow, earthbound, and negative ideas that have come to control their minds. Ideas, perhaps, of law and order, rules and regulations, fate, predestination, guilt, and retribution. Saturn in Gemini people are intellectually sensitive to rules and regulations, and as a child would have been very aware of any hints from their elders that they were thought of as bad children. They wanted to gain recognition for being good when they were children and would have controlled their behavior for that very purpose. But if they were called bad as a child, they will have judged themselves strictly by their elders' standards and so would have found many things wrong with themselves, therefore building more self-doubts. These people, as children and later as adults, may develop strong resentments towards all of this. In actual fact, what they are actually guilty of is self-judgment, which they may project upon others, therefore thinking that these other people are in fact the true bad ones, and that they are the ones that deserve the punishment and not themselves. Saturn in Gemini, at its core, symbolizes caution and control over input and output. In the area of learning, they are restrained about taking in fresh ideas, and about making any outward response to them. When negatively expressed, depression may lead to suicidal thoughts. These people are likely to yearn for love but do nothing about attracting it. There is the possibility of them turning into pessimists that live under the delusion that they are in fact realists. It is possible that these people can become offensively critical of others. When negatively expressed, opportunities may be missed through the fear of failure. Their thinking may become dull and ponderous, and their manner of speaking irritatingly halting and slow. When positively expressed, Saturn in Gemini disciplines the mind and gives it the ability to reason cautiously and to erect a valid and enduring structure of thought. The minds of these people labors with painstaking thoroughness towards its ultimate intellectual conclusions, and the results achieved very often justify the time and labor expended. When negatively expressed, Saturn and Gemini people tend to lack spontaneity. These people have a serious mental outlook and a strong tendency towards depression. These people will often congratulate themselves on being a realist, when actually they are only a cynic or a pessimist. The minds of these people have a cautious and calculating bent that is useful in science research, where the ability to make precise measurements, computations, and comparisons is highly valued. These people also excel at the teaching professions, although they tend towards the strictness of the old-fashioned schoolmaster who insists on unquestioning obedience and who falls back upon the dictates of defunct authorities. Nevertheless, such a person generally knows their facts and can explain them with clarity. Saturn and Gemini people are more apt to travel for duty than for pleasure, and they are prone to suffer mishaps on journeys. These people would much rather remain within the confines of an office or a laboratory, writing reports, checking figures, isolating variables, and taking as much time as necessary to reach unassailably correct conclusions. Generally speaking, these people have great intellectual capabilities. They can write and think with depth and inspiration. They would make an excellent mathematician, theoretical or practical scientist, penetrating lecturer, wise teacher, or impressive lawyer. They would also do well in commerce as a merchant, a publisher, printer, or broker. In even the most humble walks of life, they would be known for the astuteness of their views and the nimbleness of their minds. Saturn and Gemini people are extremely aware of all that is going on around them. They are constantly picking up information, but holding on to it only those pieces of information that will be of some practical use to them later on. They have the ability to forget the inconsequential bits of information that come their way, and they will be able to remember the profound bits of information. These people are inclined to study a number of subjects at one time. Although they move quickly from one topic to another, it is not done in a superficial way. They absorb knowledge in depth, and they understand the need to discard useless information. It is essential to their health and well-being that they keep their minds engaged. Other people with more earthy temperaments would come to the verge of a nervous breakdown under the constant cerebral activity that these people really need. Saturn and Gemini people, as a rule, are urbane and sophisticated. When given the proper circumstances, they would make a fine diplomat, elder statesman, or possibly head of state. These people are by nature deeply serious and yet retain a refreshing, youthful sense of humor, a naivety that makes them quite lovable, especially in their later years. These people are capable of great literary effort. They have extraordinary powers of observation and have the mental equipment to describe what they see in graphic and moving language. Their comprehension is quite remarkable when all is said and done. Saturn and Gemini people are often troubled with difficulties, trials, and sorrows, brought about by relatives, especially brothers and sisters. Responsibilities that come from this source may restrict their freedom and independence. These negative experiences with relatives, plus the strong intellectual nature of Saturn in Gemini, can make these people quite bitter and cynical. As a general rule of thumb, though, these people have lofty ideals. They have a fine sense of the correct way to do things and practice what they preach. They are responsible and serious-minded, but sometimes trust the wrong people and are therefore let down. Disillusionment usually leads to depression with these people. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, and so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.